estamos entonces transmitiendo la firma, la propuesta de marzo histórico para los exámenes. Bueno, obviamente, la familia, los niños, todos se van a beneficiar. Entonces, estamos en este momento histórico, en este lugar donde la gobernación, el gobernador y la vicegobernadora van a venir y firmar esta ley. Pues queremos que en esta transmisión las personas que nos escuchen, los que estén viendo, vean el proceso protocolario de la firma, pero más después va a ser importante prepararse, y la preparación viene en 12 etapas. ¿Qué hay que hacer en este momento antes del 1 de octubre? ¿Qué documentación hay que preparar? Esa es una parte importante, comenzar a leer el examen teórico. De alguna forma, pues también nosotros aquí en Copal vamos a poner un link, una conexión al documento leer el documento teórico sobre el examen, y después viene la segunda etapa, que es después del 1 de octubre, cuando las personas comienzan a llegar a las diferentes oficinas para poder aplicar por esta licencia. En ese sentido, creo que en Minnesota pues estamos con mucho orgullo por esto, y lo otro es que hay que tomar en cuenta que estas licencias no van a estar marcadas. Es decir, otros estados las pasaron marcadas, es lo que pudieron hacer. Hay que tomar en cuenta de que las condiciones políticas definen cómo es que uno puede lograr ciertas cosas, pero en Minnesota pues las condiciones políticas eran propicias para poder pasar una licencia sin marcas. Entonces, los invito a que permanezcan. Esto va a durar aproximadamente 45 minutos. Comienza a las 10:15 y luego pues es un proceso protocolario que se formaliza ahora, y que a partir de esto pues terminamos. Entonces, gracias y seguimos. Bien, esta va a ser el espacio donde esto está pasando. Aquí tenemos pues personas que están llegando todavía, pues vemos gente que está llegando. El evento no ha comenzado, y ya tenemos personas ahí al frente, en donde la gobernación va a firmar la propuesta de ley. Lastimosamente no se pudo hacer como un evento público, porque obviamente pues no había el espacio para ello, pero más sin embargo, como Copal vamos a hacer una fiesta. La fecha se la vamos a dar muy pronto. Vamos a hacer una fiesta de cuando haremos este evento público para la comunidad, donde podamos celebrar, ¿no? Es un momento de celebración. Entonces aquí ustedes ya ven las diferentes personas que están llegando, y pues bueno, entonces vamos a seguir transmitiendo. Creo que hay muchas personas acá con las cuales poder colaborar y conversar. Bueno, nos vemos entonces.
Únase a nosotros mañana, martes 7 de marzo, a las 10 de la mañana, a través de una transmisión en vivo para presenciar el día que nuestras mamás, nuestras tías, nuestros vecinos han estado esperando por más de 20 años. La firma del proyecto de ley Licencias para Todos. Transformando sistemas con nuestra comunidad. Somos Copal.
Yo tenía 4 años o alrededor de esa edad. Era muy chica. Solamente me acuerdo que veníamos de la iglesia para la casa. Mi mamá se encontraba manejando el carro. Un policía la paró a ella y ahí es cuando me entró demasiado miedo a mí.
Y me pararon y me pidieron la licencia y le dije que no tenía. Y recuerdo que me dijo que me bajara del auto. Las esposas me las puso y me metió a la patrulla.
Me causó mucho miedo. Podrían deportarla, igual que le pasó a uno de sus mejores amigos.
Solo eso queremos, manejar libremente en este país.
Hola, buenos días. Estamos aquí con Patricia. ¿Nos puede decir un poquito de lo que hace y qué significa este logro para Minnesota?
Pues yo soy Patricia Torres Ray y fui senadora por 16 años y ahora estoy cabildeando en el Capitolio para que pasemos leyes como estas. Para lo que significa para nosotros es una victoria enorme. Es la victoria del pueblo, es la victoria después de una lucha de muchísimos años, 20 años de lucha, abriendo el camino para que las personas puedan manejar libremente, puedan llevar a sus niños a las escuelas libremente, puedan llevar a sus niños a las clínicas libremente, puedan ir a trabajar sin tener miedo de no tener una licencia de conducción. Eso es lo que significa. Estamos felices de celebrarlo hoy.
Pues muchísimas gracias por estar aquí, muchas gracias por todo el trabajo.
Pasamos cámara.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Ya, vamos a ir a revisarlo. ¿Puede hacer un paneo de todo lo que está pasando?
Sí.
Rosie cambia de uno a otro. Entonces, puede que sí o puede que no. Como pueden ver, aquí todos ya estamos esperando ansiosamente esta firma que ha significado mucho esfuerzo, mucho trabajo, momentos tristes, momentos felices. Entonces, pues aquí está la comunidad reunida para poder observar y vivir este momento. Ryan, ¿nos puedes decir un poquito de cómo te sientes el día de hoy?
Pues estamos celebrando, sintiendo victoria para la comunidad y eso es parte de crear un mundo más justo para la comunidad.
Muchas gracias por todo tu trabajo. Gracias por representar, para los que no pueden ver,
Gracias.
su flor, su gorrito.
Ajá, con estilo.
Con estilo, aquí representando a la comunidad. Estamos muy emocionados. Maye, ¿cómo se siente el día de hoy?
Muy feliz, orgullosa.
¿Qué significa este momento para usted?
Para mí significa mucho, no solo por mí, sino por mi familia, por mis hijos, porque les estoy enseñando a luchar por lo que nos merecemos. Y también significa mucho por cada una de mis amistades que necesitan una licencia para sobrevivir, para hacer una vida normal. Sí. Es algo que se merecen y que nos merecemos todos.
Muchísimas gracias por estar aquí. ¿Qué significan las flores?
Le vamos a dar una flor a los senadores, pues en muestra de agradecimiento. Es un pequeño detalle, pero es gracias por todo este arduo trabajo y por estar con nuestra comunidad.
Muchísimas gracias. Como pueden ver, allá está la hermana de Mayela, está Dulce también con unas flores. Hola David, ¿cómo está?
Bien, bien.
¿Cómo se siente el día de hoy de estar aquí?
Estoy emocionado, estoy feliz.
Sí.
Es como un sueño hecho realidad,
sí.
De que hemos soñado 20 años y ahora estamos despertando y vemos que es algo que no era un sueño, ahora sí es una realidad.
¿Vino desde Rochester día de hoy?
Desde Rochester.
O sea, ¿a qué hora se despertó?
Nos despertamos 6:30.
Pero con mucha emoción.
Claro, claro. Esto no teníamos que dejar ir, tenemos que estar aquí.
Ay, qué bueno. Muchísimas gracias, David, por estar aquí. Gracias por todo su trabajo.
Gracias.
Aquí están nuestras compañeras de Copal, Claudia, Caro, que están tomándose unas fotos del momento. En unos momentos en esa mesa es donde vamos a presenciar la firma para que pues aquí en el estado de Minnesota todos podamos tener licencias. Como pueden ver aquí, la comunidad ya se está reuniendo. Tenemos a muchos miembros de la comunidad, muchas organizaciones, las personas que han hecho esto posible, todo el esfuerzo.
Porque hay muchas personas que estudiaron desde hace muchos años como ustedes, ¿no?
Mande.
Brenda está a cargo de la cámara 1, así que sí, está con los detalles de las dos cámaras. Muy bien. ¿Alguna pregunta?
¿Tiene como para hacer zoom?
Sí, lo que pasa es que esta cámara tiene un lente telefoto para captar. Esta cámara está pegando
You could come home. So wrong. It's always come home. There's a room down here. How are you? Well, good morning, everyone. As I've said, we've had a few of these moments recently to just stop for a moment and be very present in the space where we're at. And this broad coalition of folks that call Minnesota home, this broad coalition who cares deeply for the dignity of each individual who's in this state, a broad coalition of folks who understand that making good policy and treating each individual with dignity makes all of us safer and makes our state even stronger. For almost exactly 20 years, Minnesota has put in place a piece of legislation that came in the fallout of the September 11th attack. A piece of legislation that did nothing to improve public safety, but caused great personal harm, great community harm, and great economic harm to our state. That policy of denying driver's licenses to folks who were doing all kinds of jobs across Minnesota, of folks who were all kinds of people to someone else. Sister, brother, husband, wife, mother, father, grandmother, aunts, uncles, friends. People that are here in Minnesota. All of us acknowledge we need the federal government to be good partners and get true reform so that folks that want to call Minnesota home and want to be here, we welcome them, want them here, and want to make that process easier. possessing a driver's license is in many cases absolutely a necessity. Public transportation doesn't exist, especially in large parts of rural Minnesota. Having access to the ability to drive is so many times the key to stable economics, to making sure you have a home to live in, making sure that there's a paycheck there. And during this debate, all these mythical scenarios of people who are going to use a driver's license, which is not used in Minnesota to vote, but that's what they were going to do. There's not a single case in 20 years of that happening. But you know what there are thousands of cases of? People who had to worry about driving their child to a friend's birthday party. Thousands of cases of people who simply wanted to get to work, to do a job, collect a paycheck, and take care of their family. Those happen every single day. And I want to just champion the folks who are here, the folks who courageously spoke out and told those stories, people who talked about as young children being in the back in the car seat of their parents' car and being terrified of being pulled over for something as simple of a stop sign violation or something. The trauma that caused to an entire generation for 20 years. And let's be very clear, in states that have implemented driver's license for all, accident rates of hit and runs go down. People are qualified to get a license, go through the training, get insurance, and go about living their lives. So I just want to say there are too many people here to single out individually, but I'll continue to make the case that the most productive and the most family-friendly legislature in this state's history, being led by Speaker Hortman in the House and Senator Dietzig in the Senate, are talking about the issue. And for those who think they're moving too fast, it took 20 years to get to here. 20 years to get to here. There is no moving too fast on driver's license for all. And I would end with the young people in here and the organizations that stand behind me and the folks who were community activists or caregivers, which is simply a simple way of providing voice to people in their community. Those folks who did that work, and I recall, and it was out in St. Cloud at the end of last summer, of folks that got engaged in their community, got engaged in the political process, the sense of belief and hope in a system that listened to them, that watched them do the work, that put these leaders in place, that then followed through to improve your community. This should give you hope. This is the way it's supposed to be done. Folks here, in many cases, who the system tried to force into the shadows, said no more. They rose up, they organized, and in about 15 minutes, depending on how excited they get to talk, in about 15 minutes, we are going to erase 20 years of a bad policy, lift up the dignity of all.
Sometimes I'm late to Mass on Sundays. Is that right, Father Dale? Every Sunday. The joke amongst Catholics is that as long as you're there for the homily, it's fine. But I never give that car ride from home to church a second thought. With so many people in our beautiful parish community, that drive to church is a risk. For our immigrant neighbors who are essential members of our community. Missing the homily would be the least of their problems if they were pulled over on the drive to church. But today is one step towards healing. Healing from a decision 20 years ago that was veiled as a way to make us safer. It absolutely did not. When communities live in fear, it makes all of us less safe. That's something that our governor knows. That's something that our incredible bill authors know, both past and present, and Representatives Gomez and Perez Vega and Senator Thank you for your leadership. And thank you to the community. We're here today because all of you stood in the light and told your stories. You organized, you hustled, you rallied, you kept the faith for 20 years. Immigrants in Minnesota not only led the way, and I want to be very clear that many women were at the forefront. But they have inspired entire sectors to join them in coalition and action for 20 years. Faith communities, including the Catholic Church and many others, joined this movement because they understood that restoring driver's licenses meant safer access to essential services for entire families, and that it was the right and the just thing to do for choices. The business community, agriculture, law enforcement, and many others all joined this cause because they saw how beneficial and essential it is for everyone in Minnesota to have access to a driver's license. For 20 years, they organized. Because of you, all of us are safer, and 80,000 Minnesotans can drive safely themselves to school, to work, to appointments, to church, to places many of us take for granted. If you are not part of this 80,000, I'd like you to take a moment to imagine how essential this is. You get a call from your child's school that they're sick and need to go home in the middle of the day. You get a new job that pays more and is an opportunity for your family, but it adds a 30-minute commute to your day. You have a doctor's appointment with a specialist to address a health concern. For most of us, these are, at worst, inconveniences. For our relatives without access to a driver's license, these can become moments where your families are torn apart. These normal, everyday occurrences become sources of fear and stress and wear on the entire family. And it is unacceptable. It is unacceptable for our neighbors and our friends and our relatives and our coworkers to have to live with that fear. Today, we are saying that is not who we are as Minnesotans. And I am so honored and so proud and so humbled to stand with folks who have been fighting this fight for decades. Obtaining a driver's license in our society is a gateway to expanded work opportunities, housing options, and community services, and it's how we navigate our lives every day. That's what over 80,000 Minnesotans, because they are Minnesotans, you are Minnesotans, deserve and have waited for too long. Today is just the beginning. Today, the governor is signing this bill. We are signing this bill to make sure that all Minnesotans have opportunities to thrive and succeed and to grow and to live their fullest, most beautiful lives. Minnesota is our home. Minnesota is your home. And we are so glad that you're part of our community. Thank you very much.
Minneapolis in the Minnesota legislature, and along with my colleague, Representative Perez Vega, I am co-chief author of Driver's License for All in the Minnesota House. Many things have been said about this policy, and we will hear more from our community partners, so I'm going to be brief. I just want to say one thing. We are here today, and there are cameras, and there are press here, and there are elected officials here, and there are organizational leaders here. And we might think that this is where the power is, in this room. Any power that we have comes from the people. That's right. Is limited by nature. But what has been here through this movement, through administrations, through leadership in the House and in the Senate, what has been here all along is this movement of organized people making demands in solidarity about human dignity and about what communities deserve. That is what this story today, and the story on Friday about Restore the Vote, and the story of this session in the Minnesota, in our state government. That's what this is about. It's about people who reached across difference, who identified things that communities needed and made a demand and never stopped demanding until it happened. And this is how change happens. And so I just want us to remember that on this day. That there are a couple hundred people in this room, and some of us have titles, but this victory is about tens of thousands of people around our state who have never given up, who have done incredible amounts of organizing and meeting and political education. The political education that this group of people has done, right, is astounding. And so I want us to carry this forward into the rest of this session, and I'm carrying it forward with me into the rest of my work, is that change comes from the people. Change comes from people standing in solidarity and making demands about the material conditions of people's lives. And so I thank you to everybody who's been a part of that. I am honored to be a small part of it. Thank you so
Buenos días. I have the honor of serving the District of 65. First Latino barrio of the state of Minnesota. You know me, I'm always going to say that. But the first of many immigrant communities in the state. And it is an honor to be a part of this great government that we have, the great leadership that we have. It's been a long way coming. I was in high school when those rights were taken away from our village, from our community, from our best friends, from our families. And it's been a dedication of organizing this movement together, not just in St. Paul and Minneapolis, but this entire state, which is represented in here. And we said, si se puede, and si se documentation, we fight for the documentation of all of them. I'm very emotional right now because I've been on the phone all morning with so many of my friends who still can't believe it. On October 1st, they get to go get their license. I want to thank the organization that you're going to be hearing from. I want to thank our leaders at the Senate and in the House, LFG. I also want to thank the hands that carried this bill that told me, Maria, let's seal the deal. And my co-partner of Comadre, Representative Aisha Gomez says, let the South Side and West Side bring it forward. Con mucho orgullo y con mucho grito. Sí se pudo. Sí se pudo. There's more to be done. This is just one step. Pero hay esperanza con esta ley para la próxima y la próxima, para los 20 años que vienen y más. Muchas gracias.
La senadora que promovió esta.
It is such a beautiful day, and I am really nervous, if you can hear it. I'm also really emotional, and you know, I love you. I love this community. You know, Maria said it best. Having documentation is a privilege. I'm an immigrant. I have documentation. I'm a citizen. I came to this country, but it should not be. We should be allowed to let people get here and live their lives as they can. In a few minutes, the governor is going to sign this bill, and so many Minnesotans are going to be able to live their lives with dignity. It's going to transform so many people's lives. And I just want to say to the people who have not been heard by the people in power for decades, that we hear you and we see you, and I'm so privileged to be in this with you, and I'm so grateful you allowed me to be a part of this. This is work that has been done well before me, and it has been work that also has been done by my co-chief author, President Bobby Joe Champion. When it was a political suicide, and I'm so grateful to him. He's been by my side from day one and has led with his leadership and also has given me a lot of wisdom. So I'm grateful to you, President. To my sisters, Maria and Aisha, this has brought us together, and we've been. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
If I did not mention for myself and Senator Muhammad, and even before I talk about the others, will you be so kind as to give some love to the co-chief author, Senator Muhammad, who's done a wonderful when she first got elected, she and I saw each other. And the first thing she said to me, she didn't even say hello, let me just say that. She said, I want to carry driver's license for her. And I said, hello to you. But she's been wonderful, and I just want you all to know that she's worked very hard, and we worked very hard together because we believe in wanting to make sure all Minnesotans are treated with dignity and respect. And so our other co-authors would also be Senator Dibble, Senator Mann, and I see Ivy in the back over there, the people's attorney, our great. I want to thank the governor, lieutenant governor, all the applicants, Jovita. Community. When we had hearings, no matter what time it was, we saw families, we saw dads, we saw moms, we saw grandmas and grandpas. We saw it all, and I do want to join in that chorus of thanking Speaker Hortman and our Senate Majority Leader, Kerry Disick, who the journey from the White House at the moment and to this moment reinforces the notion that every journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. On any journey, there's always growth, improvement, there's adversity. You just gotta take it all in and do what's right. Continue to grow, continue to live in the moment of possibility. So when I see this is a moment of possibility. Our journey to create a pathway for all to drive, regardless of their status, has taught me and reaffirmed my belief in what's possible if we only believe. Thanks for believing, working, and pushing us to be bold and committed. Thanks so much. I look forward to seeing you on the road. I look forward to seeing you on the road. But most importantly, I look forward to seeing you on the road of life as we continue to improve the lives of all of us. And so I also want to thank Shamika Bowman and all my staff.
My name is Jovita Morales, and I'm an indigenous woman, founder of the Minnesota immigrant movement, and leader of the driver's license bill in Minnesota since 2008. To sow, seed, cultivate, and harvest love, it's our goal as immigrants. Different cities around connecting today and more that you was part of it, that you're not here. Today, I, as a representative of the community power and the community law, after almost 2 decades of advocacy, protests, sit-ins, hunger strike, thank you to Rosa, my sister, for 27 days for me. And rallies trying to change hearts and minds. We can now breathe a little bit of the relief from that trauma because our laws want real change for our community. We are Latinos who are gathering to build power and make our voice heard. I want to thank you and a special gracias to our mentor, Karen Clark, Bobby Sanchez, Carlos Mariani, Rose Hamilton. I also want to thank you to Patricia Ray. Witness in the time that I was here. I also want to thank you to Mohammed Gomez and Maria Lisa for opening up your heart and build more love and bring this bill when it was really hard to move hard. I also recognize how coming is there. Amazing work. Thank you so much for that. And special thank you to all people, friends, and allies in very Minnesota community who participate and contribute for more than 2 decades of struggle. Since 2008 and 2023, if you were also part of it, in this part of movement, thank you. One more mentor is really part of the movement and was part of the speaker during Mujeres en Liderazgo. Thank you to Mujeres en Liderazgo. Community organizing that is Mariana Espinosa, with Advocacy. And my team, when I said team, the Minnesota immigrant movement is the grassroots community leaders like you are standing over here from different cities that we want to do this relationship one of each of us, constructing love. Thank you to all of you guys. Thank you for being here. Finally, I'm going to have my driving license too. But all I can say is that I do know all I do it for love, and I'm doing it with you. Thank you.
Today, we celebrate the victory of the driver's license for all movement and what this law will mean for Minnesota families. Traveling to work, to school, and finally on vacation without fear and with so much joy. For 20 years, it has been the privilege of the Immigrant Law Center of Minnesota to be a part of the struggle to restore driver's licenses for all. Over the past 2 decades, we have been honored to fight alongside faith communities, social services providers, law enforcement officials, and business leaders from Moorhead to Austin, from Worthington to Wilmer, all across Minnesota. But most importantly, we are so thankful to have been trusted to be a partner with numerous immigrant-led organizations who led this movement. These organizations knew what their communities needed, and they made so many sacrifices to get the job done. Thank you to this community. So today, we don't just celebrate driver's licenses for all. We are truly celebrating our democracy. It's one that is messy, but it's one in which ordinary people can come together to do extraordinary things. One in which driver's licenses for all is only the first of many policies that we will all pass together. Make our state better for all Minnesotans, regardless of immigration status. Thank you to everyone who did work.
Today, more than ever, the slogan "One Minnesota" is more than for thousands of Latinos across Minnesota. Because restoring the access to a driver's license is more than operating a vehicle. It is an action that restores our dignity. Director of the Communities Organizing Power in Action for Latinos, PAL. First, thanks to our legislators in the House and the Senate that passed this bill, but particularly to Representative Aisha Gomez, Representative Maria Isa Vega Perez, courage in leading this driver's license bill. We especially appreciate Governor Tim Pawlenty and Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan for signing the bill, or soon, signing the bill. I want to recognize that this work wasn't done by one, by many people who put their heart and their mind into this movement. Compañeras, compañeros, who worked arduously since 2003 to make this dream come true. Indeed, this was a collective effort. In my capacity of Minnesota, the city of Minnesota, and as a former director of White House Community Center, I remember when a group of women, Mujeres de Liderazgo, as it was mentioned, Maria Cisneros is over here. And Jovita as well. They came and say, hey, Francisco, we want to talk to our community about what matters to our community. And so this group of women went into the community and they came back and said, you know what, our community needs a driver license. And that's how this group of women re-energized the movement. Let's keep in mind as well that in 2003, there was Antonia over there. There's poverty. That privilege wasn't taken away. I want to express my gratitude to everyone who has been working hard for this movement. One thing that we have learned for sure is that this struggle has been teaching us that nothing about us without us is for us. It is important that we don't forget this moment. If we forget this moment, 5, 10 years later, it will be undone. So the same way that we remember that in 2003, driver licenses were taken, let's keep in mind that in March of 2023, they were restored. What happened and why that happened? Because otherwise, it can be undone as well. I don't want to feel you down, but it's reality. It's reality. So, I want again, elected officials, Governor Walz and Lieutenant Governor, we look forward to continue building this youth and inclusive one in Minnesota. Thank you so much for your time.
The other victory is how immigrants have appealed and won the hearts and minds of Minnesotans. Without a doubt, we and our volunteer leaders helped make this possible. Our leaders set the conditions, share their stories, and build a Minnesota culture of pro-immigrant values as the norm. While this policy will transform the lives of thousands of families, this is a very important piece, but not yet. Dear sons and daughters of undocumented parents, children like my sweet Miranda, who is watching with her 8th grade class. We hope this law alleviates your worry, and you can sleep better at night. But most importantly, that this historic win serves as a testimony that everything is possible when ordinary people, regardless of race, immigration status, who they're loving, who they're great to, come together to build a dignified future for all of us. No exception.
Let's continue this ripple effect of community organizing that restores dignity, inspires hope, and transforms the human spirit from our neighborhoods to our workplaces and to our society, all the way towards immigration reform. Dear Minnesotans, we already know you trust us. We cultivate and prepare your food. We take care of your children. We clean your spaces and build your homes. You already know us as your friends, your family, and your loved ones. You can rest assured we won't take this opportunity for granted. This broad coalition will continue to hold the great North Star State to its greatness. With multiracial coalitions for the greater good. And while that is not easy task, let us recognize love as the greatest power to build renewal to our democracy and the vehicle to truly forge a union with liberty and justice for all. Black who will be sleeping better after tonight. And lastly, thank you, Governor Walz, Lieutenant Governor, Chief Authors. Thank you so much.
Well, just for everyone here, as we get prepared to sign, for Minnesota who might be watching us or reading it, I hope the last 30 minutes or so, you got a feel of what this state is, the goodness of what we are. If you're wondering, this is the largest bill signing that we have done. And if you look who's with us, as you heard, multiracial, multi-denominational, representatives from the faith community, representatives from the labor community, representatives from the business community, Democrats, Republicans, standing on an issue that makes Minnesota better. And I have to say, that old saying that it takes a village to raise a child, if that's true, it takes a lot of villages to raise a governor. And there are people standing with me who I met at a picnic in Worthington, Minnesota in the summer of 2005 as a school teacher when I said I'd like to run for Congress. And they said, how do you feel about private schools? And I think I responded, everyone should have. And we talked about where it was secure and why it was popular and what was happening. Fresh in our minds. That as Francisco so clearly reminded us, not raining on our parade, but stealing the spines of folks here who fought this for 20 years. That was 2 years after licenses had been taken away. And we were working to restore them at that moment. And here we stand 18 years later. That old saying, too, is once you have it, do not lose it. Once we have it, keep moving forward. Once we make progress, move to the next issue and protect what we've got. And I am so incredibly grateful. And I think it's been mentioned numerous times. The torch has been passed from generation to generation, from activist to activist, from governor to governor, legislator to legislator, to get us to this moment. Our responsibility is to hold this moment and move forward. So for all those people who fought, for all those people today who know that this signature on this piece of paper represents 20 years of working towards justice, I say thank you, and it is going to be long. Let's do it. It's done.
Los medios, yo sé que les echaste muchísimas ganas. Gracias, de verdad, en nombre de todos los latinos, te agradecemos porque por medio de la radio, muchos luego decimos, esos que están más, muchos luego decimos, no hicieron ellos, no, sí, la participación de la la verdad es que tomó mucho tiempo, 20 años, Maya, ¿te acuerdas cuando hicieron este mega evento para las licencias? Pero aquí está, yo quería pasar este tiempo, quería ponerlo ahorita en Facebook y todo, no quería parar de agradecerte porque gracias a ti, a miles de personas, probablemente cientos de miles de dólares invirtió en Maya con tiempo aire, con camisas, me acuerdo, vimos camisas, pancartas, la gente.
You can do is come off the side, but we will do it.
Así que muchas felicidades. Gracias, Maya, por este tiempo.
Un saludo para tu blog, a todos los escuchantes. ¡Sí se pudo!
Y arriba la raza.
¡Arriba la raza!
La raza doble, si quieres.
Yo creo que acérquese para allá, hermano.
And then,
Excuse me, I'm just going to follow this one.
perdón.
Ready? Come on. You want to... Where is your bill? Where is your bill? Civic is right here, right?
All right, 1, 2, 3.
With the love. What? Yeah. With the love.